Welcome to Park Center High School for State Class 6A football. A great quarterfinal round matchup for you tonight. It's the Rosemount Irish taking on the Champlin Park Rebels. Good evening, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson, and what a season it's been for Champlin Park. Just the one close loss. They've played very well. They had to pull out a tough win against a physical Prior Lake team last week, but they're rolling along pretty well. They edged this Rosemont team by 3 when they played them during the season.
Well, they've had a heck of a year, Jay, and I'll tell you what, I said this early on when we had a broadcast of theirs. I think they are, along with Wayzata, the two most complete teams in high school football. They can run the football. They have great offensive, defensive lines. They can throw the football, and they got an excellent defense. So they're a very complete team, and it's always fun coming into the playoffs, the state tournament, when you play a team that you've played already during the year, because the other team's Rosemont's going to have a little extra momentum or a little more hunger to try to redeem themselves. But this is a really great matchup here tonight.
Rosemont did something that not a lot of people do in the playoffs. They beat Brian's Eden Prairie team last week in overtime. What a thriller. 18-17. EP got a touchdown to start the overtime. Rosemont comes up with a 2-point conversion, and they're hoping to kind of ride that momentum again into this week.
Well, and I think Eden Prairie's down a little bit this year. I think everyone would agree on that, Jay. But the big thing is you beat Eden Prairie, and that name in Eden Prairie, you are coming with a lot of confidence. They feel like they can beat anybody. And you talk about football all the time. It's such a game of momentum, and it's week-to-week momentum. So they won on the road against a really tough opponent. They're coming in tonight trying to redeem an earlier loss. They feel like they can compete tonight and win this game. And I think both teams are really confident. And if you were a betting man, Jay, I don't know who you'd put the money on tonight, because they're very, very good football teams.
Let's talk about key players to look at in tonight's game, starting with the Irish, a guy who's just a great athlete, Anthony Mann, a receiver for them, going to be playing for the University of Minnesota. The Rebels know they have to be aware of him at all times.
Well, we talked to Coach Keenan there for Champlin Park before the game here tonight, and he said the thing is he's a home run threat every time they throw it to him. He's got 9 touchdowns, averages almost 25 yards a catch, so he's a big play threat, great speed, great athleticism. And as a quarterback in an offense, when you have an outlet like that to go to at any time, you're never out of the game, and you just give your team complete confidence. So how Champlin Park matches up against him tonight, it's going to be an interesting one to watch.
For Champlin Park, they've had such a great defensive year. We've picked out one of their linebackers to talk about, Noah Link. 4 sacks last week in one game. That's a season worth for a lot of people, or a career worth even. He's got 10 sacks on the year.
Well, Champlin Park's got great linebackers, but Noah's got to have a great game tonight. Athletic, he's strong, he can put pressure on the quarterback. But to defend a great receiver, you also got to stop the run. And so Noah's ability to play both run defense, attack the quarterback, but also help in the pass defense game is going to be really important to watch tonight. If Champlin Park's going to win this game, their linebackers, specifically Noah, is going to have an outstanding game.
Well, the temperatures have been making some headlines this week. It's not real warm out here, but it is not windy right now. We're on a turf field. The field conditions at Rosemount were not very good from what we understand in the regular season. So I think we can see kind of all systems go in terms of passing the ball and kicking the ball here tonight, even though it's still a little bit chilly.
Well, and that's what you ask for. You don't ever want a game to be decided because of weather or wind or rain, or it's sloppy or slippery, anything like that. Tonight it's cold, but it's cold for both teams. No wind. It should be a great football weather. I'm more worried about you and me staying warm and our camera people staying warm tonight than I am about the players. This is Minnesota football. Let the best team win.
All right, should be an interesting contest here tonight. We're going to have a great representative advancing from this side of the bracket. Rosemount and Champlin Park do battle next here on CCX.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
And we are set for football here. Going to kick just a little bit early here. Noah Vogelpohl will kick it off here for Champlin Park, and waiting back deep for the Irish, Jonathan Mann. My apologies, Jonathan. I had in my head Anthony. Jonathan Mann, the standout receiver for the Irish, and also Christian Grasky, one of their running backs, waiting back deep here. So
you better get that name down,
yeah,
Jay.
I
He's
think
going to be playing for the Gophers.
And I saw him at the state track meet excelling as well. Kick will be fielded on about the 12-yard line here, as it's Grasky coming out to about the 23-24, and he's stuck pretty good there. And so Rosemount will get the football first, quarterbacked as they are by Trevor Armborst, the 6'1", 200-pound senior, and a team that is a team that'll throw the ball around some. They're definitely much like Champlin Park in that they'll rely on the run and the pass, and certainly it should be a night where they can do that. First down, they go with the toss. Grasky looking for some room, and he's going to be stacked up after a very short gain on the play for the Irish. Getting there first is Evalecha for Champlin Park.
Well, you're going to be saying his name quite a bit. He's another one of those stellar linebackers along with Noah Link. But I'll tell you, that play was made by Devon Moore, number 5, who set the edge, didn't allow any room to that outside, and you saw great pursuit coming down by those athletic linebackers.
Be about a 2-yard pickup as Grasky just reached the 30-yard line here for the Irish. So 2nd down and 8 coming up here for Rosemount. Going to go to Mann on this sweep, and he is wrapped up. He'll pick up a couple, but pretty well defended by Champlin Park. They did a nice job of staying at home, and sometimes you try and use it against people early in a game, that they're so pumped up that they're going to chase everything, but Moore stuck with it pretty well.
Yeah, and that ball was actually almost dropped. Jonathan Mann never quite secured it there. He did a great job of just holding on to the ball, but I love the play call. You try to get in big games your star players, your best players, give them the ball, have them make plays. That was just defended really nicely by Champlin Park.
So a 3rd down and about 6 coming for the Irish here. Armborst looking over the middle, and it is complete. Took some punishment a little bit right there, but hauling it in is Jake Ratzlaff for Rosemount, and that's a guy that Nick Keenan pointed out, both offensively and defensively. He said that guy's a player right there when when Ratzlaff walked by.
Oh, he's a great safety. He's got good height at 6'2", and a formation you don't see a lot of is we're seeing it again here. 5 wide receivers, 4 on the bottom of our screen, 1 up top.
And it's going to be a straight ahead run by Armborst, and he'll have some room and into the Rebels secondary down inside the 30 before he is forced out of bounds. Boy, they had him crossed up there. Credit a lot of that to the formation.
Yeah, when you go 5 wide like that, it spreads the defense out. Look at the space right up the middle of the field, and an excellent run by Armborst. And he, you'll take obviously 25, 30 yards on a quarterback sneak every time, but that's going to force Champlin Park to keep in the middle of the field there.
Pickup of 31 down to the 27, and he's going to run it again. Ball is out. Champlin Park is going to have the football. Rebels come up with the first big play of the game as Cam Hammond's able to recover that one, and turnovers cost Rosemount a little bit in their regular season loss at Champlin Park as well.
Yeah, and anytime you get in cold weather, your hands get cold, you get a little bit numb, and again, quarterback sneak wide open there in the middle. Excellent job. I couldn't see who was.
Sam Knutson wrapped him up.
Yeah, making the tackle, and that ball is clearly loose. And that's what you're taught. That's something you work on, Jay, from fall practice all the way to now. As that ball's on the ground, you got to be alert and get on it. Very opportunistic for Champlin Park's defense.
Jace Miller and the Rebels offense out there. He does not have Sean Shipman, his top running back. He got injured last week, an ankle injury, and it's intercepted. Well, turnovers traded back and forth as Riley Grunas makes the pick for Rosemount, and Miller has it picked off on his first throw of the night, and they give it right back to Rosemount.
Well, that was a great catch by Grunas there, playing the passing lane. And that's one I like the call. Play action, going for it. Looked like he might have been hit as he was releasing it. Couldn't quite step into it. That's one of those throws you got to overthrow, if anything, on that. You underthrow it, and Grunas makes a great job making a play on the ball.
Was going for Brock Johnson, but well read and a nice play. And actually, if Riley hadn't stumbled there, he had some room to go a little bit more there for the Irish. From the 30, they'll go with the handoff here. And a nice little stutter step move by Grasky, and then he is brought down after a pickup of 5 or so. As you get a look at the defensive unit for Champlin Park, and boy, have they been strong this year.
They have. They've been great against the run, against the pass. They got good size up front, those athletic linebackers that we've talked about. They also have really good speed in the secondary, and they're going to get tested here tonight. Really good running back, and you saw right there, Grasky. He's quick, he's strong, he's powerful, so they're going to have their hands full.
Oops, and there's an early start up top there by the receiver Mason McDonald as went on 1 when the count was really on 2, so first penalty of the game will go against the Irish and push them back 5.
Well, and you can kind of see tonight it's going to be about turnovers and beating yourselves. You know, Rosemount had that momentum, Jay, on that first drive and the fumble, of course, and then Champlin Park unable to capitalize with the interception. Rosemount, a great play on first down. Now you're going backwards with the offsides. False start.
So just about back to the original line. They've got about 9.5 to go here, really, as Armborst looking to the bench. Long count. He's going to turn and hand it off. Grasky looking for some room, trying to bounce it outside. Breaks through a jersey tackle, but the Rebels stick with it. Brought down by Gavin Rostedt. And he'll pick up a couple.
Oh, that's a heck of a 2-yard gain right there. Watch Grasky here, just right there. Good patience and a nice job keeping those feet driving right there. Good gang tackling, too, by Champlin Park. And that's what you want to do with Rosemont. You want to get them into 3rd and long. But remember, they've gone 4 or 5 wide receivers. Champlin Park struggling a little bit to adapt to that.
Bring up a 3rd down and 7 now. Armborst, little pass out to Grasky. It's actually a lateral. And he'll be brought down short of the first down as he's wrapped up by Anakin Yang there for Champlin Park. It'll leave him with 4th down, but certainly 4 down. You see this is a backward pass, a lateral here. So a running play for Grasky.
Well, almost a heck of a play by Link, and really nice job by Will Dampier there. One-on-one in space, able to get that arm out and trip him up. Otherwise, that would have gone for much more yards. So it sets up a 4th and 4, 4th and 5 here. This is a big play early on in this game.
Teams traded turnovers a moment ago. Now Rosemount facing a 4th down here. We're still at 0s here early in the ballgame. Armborst looking to set up a screen, and it is knocked away and incomplete. Noah Link arriving just about the time the football got to Mason McDonald. So it will fall incomplete. The pressure coming, but that was by design. Rosemount was letting him come through to set up that screen, but well read by Link.
And that's coming from scouting reports. You see how the play develops. You can tell just by the way the quarterback backpedals, he's setting up a screen. Noah Link does an excellent job. You talked about his 4 sacks last week. Well, here he is in the passing game. And even if that ball is held on to, Noah Link tackles him for well short of the first down.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It was a great play to break it up, but even if not, he was sure on the tackle and would have stopped him short. So they get it right back here. They've only run 1 play so far. It was an interception. This time it'll be a handoff straight up the gut. And taking the handoff is the replacement for Sean Shipman, Darius Givens, a sophomore, and a decent game. Their offensive line got a little bit of surge, a little bit of push. And be 2nd and 5 coming up here for the Rebels. You get a look at Jace's numbers. Of course, Rebels fans know as a receiver last year and transitioning to quarterback. Still kind of learning the position, but he's done well. And the 2nd down give that'll leave him with 3rd and short.
And the best thing to help a quarterback, especially, Jace Miller's had a pretty fantastic year. He's got a big, strong arm, but he's still learning the position, Jay. The best thing to help your quarterback out is to be able to run the football, have balance, create those easier throws, create those long matchups on the outside. And he's also a very, very good runner. He's a big-bodied quarterback, and very mobile as well.
Nick Keenan told us look for him to run a little bit more than usual tonight with Sean Shipman out of there. Movement on the left side of the offensive line as Mujahid lifted up out of his stance early. So like Rosemount, Champlin Park being whistled for their first penalty here.
Well, and that's a huge penalty, Jay. When 3rd and 3, you got everything on the table. You back up to 3rd and 8. Now you're probably in a throwing distance. You can see right on the bottom of our screen, and he knew it right away. But those are big. 3rd and 8 is a totally different animal. Plus, it allows an aggressive defense to bring some pressure if they want.
Yeah, you certainly think straight ahead run is out of the question. Now, Miller under pressure just got away. Now is shoved toward the sideline, and we'll see where they'll mark him out. As pretty good pursuit over there as he tried to get around the edge. Eric Buden, number 45, was able to get a couple hands on him and shove him out. Boy, somebody had him by the foot almost immediately as that snap hits him in the groin. He wasn't ready for it. And you got the impression maybe that ball came sooner than the linemen were expecting too, because they weren't really ready for that rush.
You get the feeling both teams, Jay, are a little out of sync here to start. And sometimes the further along you get in the playoffs, into the state tournament, you know how much is at stake. Both teams going to have to just settle down and play football. But I'll tell you, Jace Miller on that play, he showed what a good athlete he is. He's got good speed for his size. Able to get a couple of positive yards on what could have been a disaster. Oh, there's a flag.
Yeah, we've got a flag down. They ran into the punter.
Now that'll be interesting because that'll just be a 5-yard penalty. So it's not an automatic first down. It might set up a 4th and really, really short. Coach Keenan might have his first big decision of the night.
That's going to be the discussion here. It didn't appear to be enough to draw a rough. I didn't think either, but we'll see. Oh, it is a personal foul.
Wow.
So it's going to give him a first down. As you get a look at Vogelpohl getting it away just barely, and he did run into him.
It's one of those things that's hard, Jay, when you're running full speed to try to block and your balance and everything kind of takes you into it. It's not an easy play to avoid that, but that's one of those your defense did your job. You can't have those kind of penalties. Champlin Park, lucky, able to get the automatic first down, keep their offense out on the field.
Out to the 43, and it really gives them nice field position as well there. Yep. So a little special teams mistake. They're coming after it, almost got the punt, but didn't quite. Here's Miller, going to run this one all the way. Jace Miller cutting it up hard to about the 49, so give him 6 or so on that first down play, and that one clearly a planned run all the way from the start as you get a look at the offensive lineup for Champlin Park.
Well, the thing is, he's such a big kid that even with contact, he's going to drag that pile forward just with his momentum, and 5-6 yards on first down. That's a great win for an offense. So you're going to see a lot more of him running because I think you'll always get positive yards out of it.
See Miller keeping his hands in, no doubt has little heater packs in the sweatshirt there, and as Givens takes the handoff, took a pretty solid shot from a very nice defensive player in Jake Ratzlaff. We saw him on offense. He can get it done on defense too. However, it is a nice gainer there, enough for a first down for Givens.
Now this Rosemount defense got a lot of athletes, some good size up front. And again, you just talked about Ratzlaff. He's one of the best safeties there is in the metro area. Be fun to watch him compete tonight.
From the 46, Miller throwing it out. Brock Johnson has a couple blockers out front. Brock Johnson's had a great year for the Rebels, and he's down to about the 25-yard line. He'll pick up 21, and that's a guy they've really relied on heavily this year, and a nice year he's had.
Well, and just a great call. Rosemount, you're not going to be able to see it here, but they were backed off a good 10 to 15 yards off. Excellent blocking down the field and a great job with the cut. But watch the block by number 6, Evan Hammond. It's going to be right at the screen right there down the field, and that's what enabled that play to go for an extra 10 to 15 yards. Big play.
Yeah, he'll get an attaboy in the film room on that one for sure. Here's Johnson the other way. Again, a pretty decent block. Johnson, a nice cut down to about the 12-yard line. They'll pick up 13 more. Not quite as explosive as the previous one, but still a very nice gain.
Well, and you can tell Champlin Park is sensing how Rosemount is defending their wide receivers, giving them a really big cushion. And, hey, it worked on this side. Let's run it to the left side. And, again, there's going to be no contact, Jay, until you're a good 10 yards down the field. Expect Champlin Park to keep going back to that. And you know what it sets up then is a fake on that short pass with a throw over the top. So keep in mind that might be coming here.
Rosemount using a timeout. I don't think they like the way they defended those on back-to-back plays, and they're getting a little bit of an earful. Their defensive coordinator is Park Williams, a former Gopher. And he's out there having a word or two with his guys. There's a look at Jeff Erdman, the longtime head coach for the Irish.
Yeah, 21st season. They've been no stranger to the state tournament. Eight appearances. He's built a heck of a consistent program out at Rosemount. Done an excellent job.
And he's not, all that old, but he's been a head coach for 30 years, and
he was 3 when he first started.
Well, and he's also been a head coach at a few other spots before this, so coaching was in his blood. Here's Miller running it up the middle. Miller makes a move, and he'll be in for the touchdown. Champlin Park striking first. Jace Miller running it in from a dozen yards out.
Well, a couple things really stand out there, Jay. Great play call, and did you see the explosiveness of Jace Miller? Again, talked about his size, 6'4", 215 pounds. He made 2 excellent cuts, and again, his big body just plowing forward. That is a great drive by Champlin Park. Great balance, a couple of easy throws for Jace, and then a touchdown on the run.
And here we go for 2, a little flip, and it's dropped. Oh, Champlin Park, Evalecha dropped that one. They had an opportunity there. Dom Witt looked like he was going to make something out of that one after
a high snap.
After the snap got away. Here's the touchdown is Miller. Look at that great block he got, and then he was able to make that one really nice cut.
Yeah, and he actually made someone miss right there at the line of scrimmage. And watch the second cut to his left right there. And again, contact at the 2 or 3 yard line, but that momentum just carries him forward, and they're fired up. I think Champlin Park, obviously every team wants to play with the lead, but I think they become a really dangerous team when they're able to get an early lead.
So the lead will stay at 6-0 after the 2-point conversion, which wasn't meant to be a 2-point conversion, falls out of the hands of Evalecha there.
I'll tell you what, if it wasn't meant, but do you see how quick the decision was? I mean, that was a great intuitive play as a holder. If that ball's high and you don't feel that rhythm, he was able to spin out of there and almost make a spectacular play. And that's what's great. I love technology on the sideline. You get a chance to watch, see formations and coverages. TV doesn't work, then you also have the iPad that you can go to too. I need a pair of those gloves.
Vogelpohl will kick off here for Champlin Park as the Rebels now lead at 6-0. Driving it down to about the 8-yard line here. And it is a nice open field stop. Coming up to meet him there for the Rebels was Jeff Walsh.
Remember when I said in the pregame, Jay, I thought they were one of the most complete teams? And that's, offensively, defensively, but it also includes special teams. They have a great kicking game and getting great coverage on kickoff. These kind of games with good defenses, field position can really come into play, and that's why that's such a big part of the game.
Irish will start from their 21. Armborst faking the handoff and will keep it himself around the left edge. Evalecha runs him down, but a nice pickup on first down for Rosemont as he'll pick up about 7, it looks like.
That was a great ball fake. It looked like we were watching Elk River from last week. I wasn't sure who had the ball. And if you can mix that up just enough where you keep the defense honest, you don't run it every play. Armborst isn't an everyday runner, but great ball fake, makes a really heads-up play and gets a big gain on first down.
Yeah, they've run him a little bit often, more than expected maybe too, as Miller's been running the ball early for the Rebels. 2nd and about 3 here for Rosemount. Late in the first quarter, 6-0 Champlin Park our score here in the 6A quarterfinals. Handoff to Grasky, he's hit immediately, spun out of it. And he'll be short of the first down, but boy, it looked like he was going to go down for a loss there, and he was having none of it.
No, great second effort. Nice penetration by Yang here. Watch right there. It looked like he was going to wrap him up, but as a running back, you stay low. Great spin move. Keeps driving, able to get positive yards there. Short of the first down, but an excellent job getting something positive.
Evalecha coming up with another stop. His 6', 220-pound linebacker. Boy, what a year he's had, too. He and Link together. John Jacobson had a profile on those two guys earlier in the season. And, boy, they've just gotten better and better as the season's gone, too. From the 30, pitch out to the left, and Grasky will have it as they went option on that one. And the Rebels were a little bit caught off guard, it appeared there, and it'll be easily enough for the first down as Grasky gets the gainer.
Yeah, kind of a deceptive play. A good fake again. Excellent ball fake. you run the option to the short side of the field, so you don't have a lot of room. So a very gutsy call, but really well executed there. It's always dangerous, especially when it's cold, running that option, because it's all about timing. You got to make sure you're secure on the fakes and the pitch, but excellent execution, picks up a big first down.
Knutson runs him down, but not until he picked up 8 and easily enough for the first down. Now from the 38. Oh, look at that spin move. Grasky, that one might have been a little before he needed to spin, but he is pushed out of bounds into the Champlin Park bench after picking up about 8 more, it looks like, on that play. He was so eager to get out there that he spun before anybody was really there. That was kind of cool. Little Chuck Foreman.
Yeah, but he's just got some great moves. He's a slippery. Look at that. Spinning to get out there, and then he's got that good speed once he's out there. Yeah, just great footwork, great center of balance, low, and he's got that speed, and he runs tougher. He runs tougher than what he is. He's 152 pounds, but he runs more like he's about 185, 190.
Second and short here for the Irish. Back to Grasky it goes. Knutson able to throw him down. A little suplex there. Grabbed him from behind and brought him back down. And he gets about back to the line of scrimmage, it looks like, and that'll be it.
Well, Knutson, we talked a lot about the linebackers, but he's had also a phenomenal year. He's a big, strong kid. You know someone's tough, Jay, when it's 20 degrees out and they don't wear sleeves underneath. He's an old-school, tough, physical football player, and he's had a heck of a year. They're going to need him to get that penetration into the backfield.
Third and a couple now for Rosemount. They're going to go up the middle again, and a little squirt out to the right might have been enough to get Grasky that first down. Looks like it will be. If he had continued on his path straight ahead, he might not have got him, but he just made that slight little step right.
Well, and that's a part of being a good running back that so many people forget is vision. Sometimes they're stubborn. Hey, this is where I'm supposed to go. This is where I'm going. Well, that time just a great vision, just that half a hole to the right, able to get a yard or two further, able to pick up the first down. And this is that 5 receiver set that was giving Champlin Park some trouble on that first drive.
From the 48, down under 30 seconds to go here in this first quarter. Rebels leading 6-0, but Rosemount trying to put a little drive together. Armborst looking out to the left, throwing. Grasky has the catch, and he'll run out of room after getting into Rebels territory at about the 46.
Well, just in their easy throws and their use, there's 4 wide receivers to the left. It's basically like a screen pass. The other 3 wide receivers are just out in front blocking. Not meant to be a home run, but you're getting 7-8 yards on first down, and you're building confidence, too, for your quarterback. Those are great plays. Tough to defend. You got to keep in mind, too, on the other side of the field, you have Jonathan Mann. So sometimes you're throwing to those 4 wide receivers. You're setting up plays later on in the game for their big play wide receiver.
Second and short from the 45. Go with the handoff this time to Terrence Campbell to the short side of the field, and Campbell knocked out of bounds. It'll be enough for a first down as Rosemount continues to move the chains here late in this quarter. First carry for Campbell.
You sense, Jay, a nice rhythm right now on this drive for Rosemount. A couple of easy throws, some good runs, gotten a really nice effort out of Grasky. They're mixing it up, running to both sides too. So a nice balance, nice rhythm by the Irish offense.
At the 41 now of Champlin Park, as Rosemount having their best offensive possession so far. Trying to battle back after giving up a TD. High snap, but handled. Grasky looking to squirt through there. Evalecha and Link able to bring him down after a gain of about 4. And the quarter will come to an end here on a cold night at Park Center High School. Our score after 1 is Champlin Park 6 and Rosemount nothing. The second quarter is coming up next.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here as you look at some of the Rosemont fans who have made their way across. Obviously a much shorter bus trip for Champlin Park here, which is actually in Brooklyn Park. A lot of people don't know that, but right on the border of Champlin and Brooklyn Park, and their high school is in Brooklyn Park, and so they've just come straight south about 5 miles or so for their game. Rosemount getting set to snap it again here to begin quarter 2. 1st and 10 at the 37 of Champlin Park. Armbors looking down the sideline, throwing it up, and it is knocked away. Quite a bit of contact. They wanted an interference call, but not going to get it, it looks like, as he looked up top. Josh Strong defensively there.
Yeah, definitely some contact there. And I think the thing that Rosemount is saying is that the cornerback in that play, Strong, didn't make a play on the ball. He was almost face guarding. But you being physical down there, and those are tough ones, right? You watch football enough, you almost feel like you could call a flag anytime or not call it. So I always prefer to referees let them play, and that's where it's a battle for the ball. You got to go make a play.
3rd and 7, and my mistake coming into that quarter. I forgot they had gotten that first down play off. And there's a throw into quite a bit of traffic. Yep. Strong was there defensively again. Caden Rudall, who caught the winning 2-point conversion in overtime against Eden Prairie, was the intended target. But it'll bring up 4th down and 7 here for the Irish. And in a spot on the field where I don't think this is probably too tough a choice of what to do here, but we'll see.
Well, keep in mind they have an excellent kicker.
Whiting is coming on, but it looks like in punt formation. This would be a tall ask even for a good high school kicker, but it looks like they're going to try and pin the Rebels deep here.
Yep. And you always, at this side of the field too, in this position, you always got to be aware of a fake punt too.
Low snap, Whiting though getting it, and he'll pop it up short. And it does take a nice bounce for the Irish. Oh, wow. This one's going to go all the way down to about the 1-yard line. That is exactly what they were looking for there.
Great execution, great special teams, and a smart play. Instead, you go for it on 4th down there and you don't get it, Jay. You're giving an offense that just scored a touchdown, pretty good field position. Now you pin them down at the 1-yard line. That was an excellent punt.
Yeah, even with the low snap, the Rebels were playing return there. Didn't really have any pressure on him. And Whiting, and obviously on a short punt like that, it's nobody really in a position to field it. So there it goes all the way down, bouncing to the 1-yard line. And Champlin Park now have to be careful ball handling right here too. And their defense had a safety in a similar spot last week in their game.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where you want to just get a couple of yards, give yourself a little bit of breathing room so you're out of that end zone.
3 receivers. Here's Miller going to look long on the throw down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Looking for Dom Witt there. It was pretty well covered, and there again another one you say, well, a little bit of contact, but really it was just well played defensively.
But see, that was a great throw. If you're going to miss, you miss deep and far, so it's not an interception. We saw that first throw of the game where Jace Miller just underthrew that a little bit, and that's an excellent. I like the call. You figuring you're going to run, you try to take the top off on the defense, just a little bit overthrown, no harm. Now you got to get some positive yards here.
2nd down and 10 here from their own 1 for the Rebels. Givens takes the handoff, and he'll pick up close to 5 on that play, as again they opened up a little bit of a hole just to squeeze his way out over the 5.
Yeah, Givens did a nice job at just hitting that hole hard. You hesitate sometimes, and that allows an aggressive defense to get pushed. That play, he just hit that hole. Didn't hit a home run, but got positive yards. Now you set up a 3rd and manageable.
Boy, the Rebels, even just one first down would be big here, too, to not be punting out of your own end zone. So we'll see what they have dialed up here on 3rd down and 5.
I think you watch a Jace Miller run.
Miller going to throw. It was tipped. Looking for Brock Johnson, but the Irish got a piece of it. I believe it was Riley Nelson who got his hand up and gets a piece of that. Everything was there for the Rebels, but that's what makes that throw a little bit dangerous sometimes is if the linemen get their hands up.
Yeah, and great job by the lineman. If you're not going to get to the quarterback, get those hands up. And if that's not deflected, that's a catch. He was wide open, and that would have been a first down.
Yeah, great play there by Riley Nelson. And really, when you think about it, if they get their hands up when you're that close to the quarterback, it's very difficult to get that ball over him because he's going to look to throw it on the dart, a short, quick throw. Vogelpohl standing way back at the back of his end zone. The Rebels with a real wide split along their offensive line. And he drives it very low and short, although they're not going to be able to field it. So it'll turn out better than what the optics looked like on that one initially as it's out to the 48-yard line. But still great field position. Rosemount got what they wanted out of that. I mean, sure, you'd love to force a turnover way deep or a safety or something like that, but all in all, they kind of did what they wanted to with that punt and then pinning them deep.
Quick 3 and out. And excellent field position. That's why you punt at that where they chose to do it. So well executed football by the Irish, and now back on offense. Just haven't been able to string together enough drives, enough first downs. Champlin Park's defense hanging tough, bending, giving up some yards, but not breaking.
Yeah, the last drive was a pretty good one for the Irish until they ended up having to give it up there on the punt. Grasky taking the handoff right, looking to cut it back, and is able to squeeze out some yardage inside the 45 there. As he'll pick up about 4 on that play. It looked like they had it strung out, but he just kind of kept his eyes up and kept looking for a spot and followed his guard in there.
Well, and you said it. He followed his block. He ran with great patience on that, and he gets right behind. As a defender, sometimes it's hard to see where he's going, and he kind of patiently waited, saw the cutback. And what I like good running backs, Jay, they'll get something out of a play. Instead of a loss, trying to make a home run and you end up with nothing or a loss, he took the single, got 4 or 5 yards. That was a nice play.
From the 44 now, 2nd down and 6 here for the Irish. Grasky takes a handoff again. Strung out this time, though, and he'll be forced out. Brought down there by DJ Miles for Champlin Park as they got penetration from about 3 different guys there, and Miles will end up getting the stop after about a 3-yard loss or so.
Well, that's just textbook defense. You can see right there, great penetration. You just keep forcing it out, and then Miles goes ahead and finishes it off. Great pursuit, too.
Kind of give a little credit there to Cole Fredrickson, who first got and then Link didn't make the tackle, but he shot in there and forced it again, and they just kept working it, and Miles gets the stop. So 3rd down and 9 coming up here for the Irish. They got great field position to start this drive, but the Rebels so far holding on. Fake the handoff, and that throw over the middle for Mann is incomplete, and here comes the flag, though. Moore was defending him, and we will get what appears to be a pass interference call coming up against Champlin Park.
Oh, that did not look like contact. Wow. I don't even know if that was a catchable ball either. See Coach
There's
Keenan,
a look at Nick Keenan. With the naked eye, first glance, it didn't feel like much to me, but
I thought the play earlier in the game when Rosemount went deep, there was way more contact that wasn't called than on that one. That was a good 5 or 6 yard thrown ahead of Mann as well.
So a first down from the 32 now for Rosemount as they get a fresh set of downs via the penalty. Grasky taking the handoff right. Evalecha couldn't quite bring him down. Let's see how far up the sideline they'll give him there. Under about the 27, 28 yard line.
Hey, Grasky's he's elusive. It seems like Champlin Park has them in his grasp. They have hands or arms on him, but he just seems to not get tackled. And a nice play, you bring Mann in motion to the left, so you got your whole defense flowing left, and you come back with Grasky going to the right. Nice play called and a very slippery runner he is.
Yeah, the difference between that being a 1-yard run or a 4 that it turned out to be can really make or break an offense. There's Grasky taking the handoff again bouncing it outside and ridden out of bounds there by the Rebels, Miles. And he'll pick up about 3 more on that one.
And you feel like, time of possession has been dominated, it feels like, by Rosemount, doesn't it, Jay, in this first half? They've been able to drive and you kind of get to this 30, 35, 25-yard line. Now that field gets a little smaller. Defenses usually pick it up a little bit. This is a big 3rd down here.
Four receivers out to the left and 1 to the right, and it's going to be Armborst running it, and this one well defended. Evalecha will stop him, and he did not get the first down.
Well, great adjustment that time by Champlin Park. You remember that 5 wide receiver set in the opening drive really led to Armborst having huge running lanes there up the middle. Big gains he had on quarterback sneaks that time. Great adjustment. And you can see the adjustment right there too by Evalecha. He does a great job of being there waiting for it and driving him back.
And Rosemount's going to use a timeout as they've got 4th and short coming up here early in this second quarter. Keep in mind, again, they do have a very good field goal kicker too in Whiting, but they would, I'm sure, like to get a first down. As you can look at the state tournament history, and I have to admit, looking today, I didn't remember that there'd been quite this many for Rosemount. I mean, they won a AA title back when AA was the biggest back in 1981. And they've been in the tournament here a few times of late as well. 16 was the last time, but in there here in 2019. And you look at the schedule they played this year, both these teams, they were tested. They both played a lot of good opponents. And you're kind of in that realm where you're each year thinking that for both of these that, okay, if things go right, we should be one of the best 8 or best 10 teams in Class 6A. That's where both these programs are at.
Well, Rosemount 7-3, but I mean, their losses were to Prior Lake, the opening game of the year. Prior Lake's a physical, good football team. Lakeville North, the defending state champs, and then, of course, a close one to Champlin Park earlier in October. So their 3 losses have been against really good teams, and they've played a tough schedule all year long.
They are going to go for it here on 4th and the long one. The toss back, and Grasky's going to get the first down and more. He's gone. Touchdown, Rosemount. Champlin Park selling out to try and stop him from getting the first down, and there wasn't much there beyond that first wave.
Gutsy play call, a toss pitch to the short side of the field, especially with great linebackers. So you allow that chance that there might be some penetration into the backfield. And were you kind of gearing up for a collision there right around the first down line, and Grasky able to get through there and shot out of a cannon into the end zone.
Yeah, it's interesting. It didn't appear that the gap was going to be big enough that he'd get all the way through there, but boy, as soon as he turned it up, he was gone. Here's Whiting on for the extra point, and his kick is good. And so with 8:56 to go in the second, Rosemount, courtesy of making their extra point, takes the lead as you get another look.
Yeah, and right there, it just seemed like Champlin Park was flying, knowing where that first down marker was. And if they didn't get there, then there was no one on the second level. Great push, too, by the white jerseys, and untouched, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right that they maybe surprised him a little bit by going with the toss, but more so than that even was just how well blocked that was. You got to look at it there, and nobody was really getting off their block, and maybe a little bit overrun by the secondary there a little bit too. And
but I mean, think about it. You run to the short side of the field where there's just not a lot of room, and so I think you'd take a little bit. Coach Mike Grant for Eden Prairie always would run to the short side of the field. And I think it surprises defenses and defensive coordinators. So gutsy call. We hadn't seen that toss sweep yet tonight. They pull it out on 4th down and get a great push there to the right side of the line of scrimmage.
Well, we see a little heater. At least they got one. There was some controversy before the game. The game notes or instructions from site managers said no heaters allowed. Well, when we got here, Rosemount had 4 giant ones. Champlin Park was not happy about it, and it looks like they got at least one down there. So a return coming here for Champlin Park. Ooh, and a physical ending to the run back there is a nice one. There's a look. They got them really nice ones over on the other side. And it just kind of got under Champlin Park's skin a little bit. Like, what's the deal? We got instructions saying we can't do that, and here they are with them.
Oh, they got their
now
heaters
they got
on
theirs
their
going
side,
too.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, the only thing the cold can really impact is your hands, especially the people that are handling the football, the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, that kind of thing. Those hands start to get numb a little bit. You can't quite grip. You can't feel it as well, so it's critical to keep them warm.
From the 33 now, Miller handing it off. Givens squirts through there. Oh, and a nice open field tackle there by Ratzlaff, or that one would have went for even more. It's a nice gainer as is, but Givens brought down on a nice physical stop.
Yeah, this is an important drive, I think, for Champlin Park. They got that lead, and all of a sudden, their defense hasn't quite been as stout as it normally is. Rosemount gets the extra point. Now you feel like as an offense, you got to respond.
Miller will hand it off, and another big hole to run through, and that was a carbon copy. Same tackler, same runner, and out to the 46. It'll be enough for the first down for Givens.
Yeah, well blocked up front. Champlin Park does a great job. You can see the penetration kind of coming from the outside, but look at that. Really well
nice
blocked.
Nice kick-out block there by the fullback, too, as Richard Scott really got a nice block in there, and a nice block by the pulling guard as well.
I'll tell you, if Ratzlaff doesn't make that tackle, that might go for 6. So 2 big tackles on those plays, but nice gains.
They'll have it at the 46 now, first down and 10. Jace Miller fakes the handoff this time, throwing for Brock Johnson, and that one will fall incomplete. It was out front of him a little bit, but it almost looked like Johnson slowed up. Maybe looking at a defender coming toward him, or they just weren't quite on the same page there on the depth of that route maybe. So second down coming up for the Rebels. 2 out of 6 now for Miller through the air. Both completions to Johnson on those quick receiver screens earlier in the first quarter.
Well, let's see if they go back to that. They had some success about that, and we'll see if they go back to it.
Miller going to run this one all the way, and he got a good block, and Miller will be very close to and may indeed have a first down here. Looks like he will, down to about the 44 of Rosemount.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had much there, Jay, going to the left. Pretty well defended, but you're going to see he's going to cut back to his right there. Excellent block out in front, but again, Rosemount has good team defensive speed. They take that edge away, but Jace Miller has shown a really nice elusive ability to his running, able to cut it upfield and get the first down.
From the 44 now of Rosemount, Champlin Park down by a point. They go to Givens up the middle, a big gap, and again he is run down by Ratzlaff.
Well, that play doesn't happen if your 3 interior offensive linemen aren't doing their job. It's a quick hitter right up the middle. They've run it 3 times on this drive. Let's see if we can see. Excellent. Bam. 2 great blocks that time. But Richard Scott, number 32, had a great lead block. You're going to see him right there. Just kicks out the linebacker and hits the hole hard. And another maybe touchdown saving tackle by Ratzlaff.
Ends up being a 12-yard gain, but again, that one could have been definitely more. Ratzlaff showing his ability in the open field. Miller going to flare it out. Givens with the catch. Cuts it up hard inside the 20. Breaks through a tackle down to the 15.
Great rhythm on this drive. Givens has been a huge part of it, hitting traps. I love the call. An easy throw, easy catch. I'll tell you what, the sophomore doing an excellent job being a big part of this offense. Well blocked down the field, too. Champlin Park really in a nice rhythm on this drive.
So he broke through that first tackle and then just kind of dragged down by Charlie Barnick there, but Rebels have it all going right now. Down to the 15 of Rosemount, trying to retake the lead here, trailing at 7-6 midway through the second. Going to be Miller with the run. Gets a good block from Givens, and Miller down inside the 5. Well blocked, well designed play, and it looks like it should be first down and goal to go here.
Well, they did a great job of running some pre-snap motion, end up clearing out one of the linebackers to the opposite side, and just a quick hitter. There's no decision making, there's no pace. You're not waiting, it's just hitting it. Great kick out block, and again, Jace Miller has been a great runner here this evening, and he's fired up.
Be at the 4-yard line of Rosemount here. First down, goal to go for Champlin Park. impressive drive put together here by the Rebels. Here's Miller going to run it again, and he will be, looks like he had enough. He's in for the touchdown. Miller was driven back a little bit, but the ball had crossed the plane of the goal line there, and Miller will have his second rushing touchdown of the game.
Same play they just ran again with that big body. His momentum's going to carry him forward, and he gets across that end zone. That's a great response that time by the Rebel offense after they go down 7-6. And keep in mind, too, they're doing this without maybe their most talented offensive player in Sean Shipman at running back. Extra point is good. I thought maybe they'd go for 2 there.
Yeah, you'd think so. They obviously have some confidence in their kicking game, even though the first one didn't work out. Vogelpohl kind of hooked that one, but he got it through for the extra point. There you get a look at Miller. And boy, they're doing, I like the design in terms of where they're getting some great lead blocks from their running backs, too. I mean, give them credit individually, but also just the design. They're getting a nice angle for those blocks.
Well, and Givens that time, he didn't score the touchdown, but he had a couple of big runs, a big catch, and a number of lead blocks, too, and really well blocked up front. You saw every lineman engaged in their block, holding their block. And if you get a big kid like Jace Miller, that forward progress, he's going to get across that end zone. And we talked to Coach Keenan. He said, you're going to see Jace Miller carrying the ball more tonight, and he's been true to his word. Their second rushing touchdown.
Yeah, he felt like Miller there, at times probably could have run for some more yards, but he was, trying to run the play as called. And he said tonight we're going to really encourage him to, when it's there, you got to go for it and go for it hard. And it was a good look at it too on that replay of how he just reached the ball over the goal line.
Well, and I'll tell you, these runs, Jay, have been no-brainer. They weren't run-pass options. You are running the football. Sometimes as a coach, you can help your quarterback make that decision for him.
Bounced and picked up at the 9-yard line, and look out. And out over the 30 on the return goes Grasky. Looked like he might really break that one for a moment, but Rebels recovered after maybe overrunning things just a little bit early on. So Rosemount getting the football back with a little over 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, now trailing at 13-7.
Yeah, you can see it's already dropped. It's down to 15. Feels like 15, but no win. That's the one you want to keep an eye on, especially with a missed extra point. Field goals, extra points, they could come into play. So having that no win is a big deal, especially for both of these teams because they both have really good kickers.
On the 31-yard line, Rosemount coming out of the huddle.
What do you think Bud Grant would say to see high school kids huddled up over by the fire?
Handoff going to Campbell this time, and he is wrapped up and dropped and fired up as Yang after he got in on that stop. And Knutson there with him as well. About a yard for Campbell on his second attempt. Mostly Grasky has run the ball with some arm bores too, and then a couple of Campbells thrown in.
I feel like they got to do that. They probably know those aren't going to go for big plays, but you got to keep the defense honest. Otherwise, you start just keying on Grasky.
Second down and 9 coming for the Irish here. Both teams' offenses maybe kind of settled in a little bit after little sluggish starts. Armborst rolling to his right, now firing. And great contact to drive it out of there. Perfect timing on the closure by Cam Hammonds, and you see he's excited about that. That one looked like a completion all the way. Hammonds timed it perfectly, hit him perfectly. Not a head shot, not anything illegal, just dropped the shoulder on it.
Boy, I saw that play developing. I saw the receiver open. I thought, he's open. And Cam Hammonds just closed like a rocket. As soon as that ball was in the air, he closed, and the timing was perfect.
Played through the ball nicely there, too. Came through with the hand. It wasn't just the hit. He got his hand on the ball there and knocked it away. It's hard to fault the receiver on that one, as much as you'd like to say you had your hands on it. So 3rd and long now. Armborst looking deep down the sideline, and just incomplete. As it was Grasky deep downfield as the receiver. It looked like he got his hand on it. That ball couldn't have been thrown a whole lot better.
That was perfect. They ran a wheel route. Grasky out of the backfield, just running right up along the sidelines. He's got great speed. He actually got a step. I mean, it's pretty well covered. But that ball was put right, about as well as you could throw. and just couldn't quite get there. But excellent throw, excellent cut. That was just great all the way around.
Evalecha getting back there on the coverage.
Yeah, that's a hard ask to ask your linebacker to run with the speed of Grasky like that, but pretty well covered.
Hammonds are deep here. Whiting gets the kick away. And a fair catch called for and made by Cam Hammonds there. Good field position for Champlin Park as they will get it on their 38-yard line here, and a nice amount of time to go to, a little over 4 minutes as they try and build on a 13-7 lead.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but if Champlin Park, Jay, is able to come down and score on this drive, take a 2-score lead, you're going to look back on that Cam Hammonds play where he hit the wide receiver, because that's a first down. Rosemount would sustain a drive. Now you got plenty of time left. I mean, that was just such a beautiful football play by Cam Hammonds. And momentum, right? We just saw Champlin Park have a really successful drive. See if they're able to keep that momentum.
Go with the little toss out this time, and nothing doing there as Rosemount read it well, and getting the stop was Gavin Bass. It was Cam Hammonds running the football that time for Champlin Park. And he'll be stopped right about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'd let him run the ball too after that play on defense.
So 2nd and 10 here for Champlin Park. Miller's got 3 receivers to the top side. Fake, or does give it to Givens, and he is stopped again for no gain. So back-to-back stops for the Irish. Getting good penetration there as breaking through was Cameron Rother and also Kyle Larson.
Both offenses have really been successful on 1st and 2nd down, able to run, get 5, 6, 7 yards on 1st down. But we've seen the last drive on Rosemont here on this drive with Champlin Park. Nice job defensively, and you're forcing a 3rd and long.
Miller dumping the pass, complete to Brock Johnson. Flag is down. Could this be a face mask perhaps, or did it come earlier than that? He was going to be stopped well short of the 1st down, but it all depends on what this penalty call is going to be. It is a face mask.
That's huge.
So Rebels will get a 1st down via the penalty as a big 15-yarder against Rosemount. Champlin Park had one earlier against them on a pass interference that was costly, and this one was a face mask. Right after Johnson catches it, he got him and turned the head around as Jacob Peterson, and it's a good call.
And that's huge because he was a good 2, 3, 4 yards short of that 1st down. So instead of forcing a punt, now you're back at 1st down here for the Rebels. Huge play.
At the 41 of Rosemount, Miller faking the pass, then throws the completion. A solid tackle, but it should be enough for a 1st down as he hooked up with Evan Hammonds there.
Yeah, that pump fake to the side didn't seem like much, but it was, because you get that hole in the secondary of Rosemount starts flowing to the outside, up to the left there, and you end up getting a nice seam for Hammonds to run into. Not a huge play, but enough for a 1st down and an easy throw and catch. Good rhythm.
From the 30, Givens stacked up after about a 2-yard pickup there. They've started to make him pay a little more. There were most of the first, half dozen carries or so that he wasn't really hit until he was into at least the 2nd level, but that's changed a little bit of late.
Well, Jacob Peterson, number 16 right there, who got the face mask penalty, that time did a great job of getting penetration and some contact. He's an athletic linebacker too, and he stepped it up here lately in the running game.
A little over a minute and a half to go in the 1st half now. 2nd down and 8 here for Champlin Park. And they'll go up the middle. And running at that time was Richard Scott. And Scott will be stopped short of, right at the 25-yard line, in fact. So we'll leave him with a 3rd down.
Well, and you don't wonder, too, Champlin Park not wanting to leave any time on that clock. But remember, they got a good kicking game as well. If they don't get a 1st down, where they're content with just getting a field goal and going up 2 scores. That field goal would obviously erase the missed extra point from the 1st touchdown of the game.
3rd and 5 here at the 25 as we tick under a minute to play here in this first half.
So I don't take chances down the field. I put the ball in my quarterback's hands and have him run it.
And now they're going to have to use a timeout. And you see Miller kind of barking at Scott a little bit there. I don't think Scott was sure when and where he was supposed to be in motion. There's a look at the winner of this game plays the winner of that game. And look at Shakopee getting it done at least so far again. Leading Lakeville North by a 7-0 score as Shakopee came up with a big win last week against Totino Grace. So,
they're another team, Jay, that played a really tough schedule all year long, playing Wayzata, Edina, Eden Prairie, St. Michael, Albertville. And so you get better and better. Even if your record isn't great, you're not scared of anyone come playoff time, and they certainly are on fire. And speaking of on fire, this Rosemount team is on fire. They've won 4 straight games. They're playing with a lot of confidence too.
Pretty key stretch here late in this first half. I mean, if it stays at 13-7, right now it would be kind of a win for the Irish in Champlin Park. I think they're conscious of the clock too. They weren't really in any hurry there because, like you said, if they don't end up getting a first down, you don't want to really leave Rosemount with much time either.
Well, and it's huge because if they were able to capitalize and score here, the Rebels, they also get the ball to start the second half here. So this is a really huge end of the first half.
Miller rolling to the right, and now going to tuck it up and try and run, but he'll be wrapped up way short of the first down there as he's spun around and down by Kyle Larson.
His success tonight running the football have been quick hitters where there's no question that he's going to run it. This time rolls it out, obviously looking down the field. I think earlier he's got to make that mind up that he's going to run it. When he's a little passive like that, just nothing there. You got to figure that Champlin Park's going to call a timeout here with just a couple seconds left and attempt a field goal, I would imagine.
They're letting it tick down. Or is it too far for that and they're thinking Hail Mary into the end zone? That could be the other option. So Champlin Park will let it tick down to just about 5 seconds to go here. And see Brian Woodley speaking to his guys down there. That big stop by Rosemount there, not only getting the stop, but the loss on that play really, I think, changed the complexion of this drive. Champlin Park was still in more aggressive mode heading up to that, but now they're kind of be down to just one last opportunity here, and I think Miller's probably going to look to throw this ball up and hope one of his guys wins a jump ball or tip drill, something like that. Miller looking out to the left. He's going to loft it up for the end zone, and it's batted and bounces around and incomplete. So trying to go to Ty Givens, and it looked like for a moment that one had a chance. Rosemont was there defensively as well, and they battled for it, and it'll fall to the turf incomplete. So it is Champlin Park leading it by a score of 13-7 here on this chilly night at Park Center. At halftime of this one is interesting ending there for Champlin Park. You wonder if they had it to do over again, if they wouldn't have maybe hurried things up just a little bit more there. But at the same time, again, you want your drive to be the last drive of the half there, one way or the other, too. Don't give Rosemont any real opportunity to come back and get anything going. Let's go down now to Ryan. He's with Coach Keenan.
Coach, playoff football, 13-7, cold weather. What were your thoughts there in the first half?
Well, I thought our tackling was pretty poor, and we're getting on the defense because that's not been us all year. So we're going to keep working on that. But, they ran some different plays than they showed all year, so we had to adjust a little bit. We forced that one turnover. We need a few more.
When they went 5 wide and ran the quarterback sneaks, you guys did a nice job there. They ran it again later in the half. You guys adjusted really well. What was the changes you made to that?
Well, really, we just kept some guys in the box and told our guys if he's under center, they can't throw the ball. So then they're running quarterback sneak, just, one quick switch there. So that's what we did with that. But we know if he backs out, we're going to back out.
13-7, you got one half of football left to keep this season going. What do you tell these guys at halftime?
We were trying to get one at the end there because we knew we had the ball come second half, but football is pretty easy. You read your keys and you react, and you play discipline. A few times out there we weren't very disciplined, and like I said earlier, we weren't tackling very well. We'll shore that up at halftime.
Awesome. Well, good luck in the second half. Thanks, Coach. All right, back to you, Jay.
Thanks very much, Ryan, and thanks to Coach Keenan for taking the time to speak with us. 13-7, Champlin Park, our score at halftime. We'll have first half highlights and more for you coming up. You're watching the State Class 6A quarterfinals on CCX Sports.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother. You, your boss, your boss's boss. You, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work. Thanks.
Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish. In your face, in your face.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back here to Park Center High School. Champlin Park leading Rosemount by a score of 13-7. And at this field a couple years back, there was a game that a few people might remember. I think, Ryan, you were a part of it too, as it became known as the Maple Grove Miracle. I don't know if we'll see that tonight. This was Maple Grove, St. Michael, Albertville, and a fantastic comeback. That a game where you just thought they're going to run out of time. There's no way they're going to have a chance, but that was not to be the case. Maple Grove coming back as you get a touchdown there from Evan Hull, recovering a couple of onside kicks. I mean, it was everything had to fall into place perfectly, and it did.
Well, everyone's going to talk about the onside kicks, but that catch that we just showed right there, I thought was one of the most spectacular high school football catches I've ever seen.
And we've got state volleyball going on this week as well. Wayzata in white against Elk River in the 3A quarterfinals Thursday morning. And it's Wayzata, the second seed, sweeping Elk River, so they get North St. Paul, who may be a little bit of a surprise, swept Lakeville North. And that is that Friday morning at 11 at the XL Center, and we will be there to provide a delayed broadcast for you of that semifinal in Class 3A volleyball and potentially the championship if Wayzata is in it on Saturday as well. Here's a look at the remaining teams, the bracket in Class 6A football. You got Shakopee with the lead, Champlin Park leading here, and then the other bracket, Wayzata Centennial play tomorrow, as do Lakeville South and Mounds View. So kind of a mixture of some of the old guard with some a little bit of new blood in there too.
Yeah, and it's wide open this year. I feel like Wayzata's maybe the best all-around team, but I think Champlin Park is right there too. But Lakeville North, not quite as dominant as they've been the last couple of years. The team to keep an eye on is that Lakeville South. They run a variation of that Elk River offense that we saw last week. Difficult to defend, so kind of wide open. A lot of really good matchups.
Well, we've got a half to go here at Park Center in the 6A quarterfinal. Champlin Park with the lead. Their student section trying to stay warm here tonight as the temperature is dropping as the night goes. We'll be back with more here in just a moment. You're watching Class 6A football playoffs on CCX.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And welcome back here to Park Center as we are heading toward half number 2. And let's take a look at some highlights from the opening half of this good battle. Starting with the strip here. Armborst coughed it up, recovered by Hammonds. However, Champlin Park returning the favor the next play. Jace Miller hit a little bit as he threw, and a nice interception for the Irish there by Riley Grunas. And then a really key play there, a nice stop by Noah Link on a 4th down play to break that one up. Champlin Park getting things going a little bit. A couple of tosses out in the flat to Brock Johnson, one to each side, that really kind of keyed that drive.
Yep.
And then Miller, the quarterback, getting a crushing block up front and able to make a nice low cut and get his way into the end zone. So the Rebels taking a 6-0 lead at that point. Their extra point try was no good, however. Rosemount coming back. Grasky this time forced way back, and Miles defended it well and strings him out. And then a nice stop by Evalecha.
And that was the adjustment I was asking Coach Keenan about, that they did a nice job. But this was an outstanding play call and an outstanding touchdown run. And I'll tell you, their offense has been all Christian Grasky in the first half.
Yeah, Coach Keenan wasn't especially thrilled with how his team tackled in that first half. And you get a look at the Rebels coming back the other way with the little pass out in the flat to Givens. And it really looked like Champlin Park had a lot going, and then they finish it again with Miller. Watch him just push the ball over the goal line there, a little reach out, and he was in for the touchdown. And then they kicked the extra point on the second one, and he got it through. So a 13-7 lead here for Champlin Park as we get a look at the stats for the first half. A little more balance certainly for Champlin Park in that opening half, even though the overall yardage is pretty close.
Yeah, very evenly played there. I think what was key was how that first half finished. Rosemount doing a nice job of keeping points off the board. Champlin Park able to even get a field goal there, Jay. They go up 2 scores and now getting the ball to start the second half. So big finish for Rosemount. I thought a win. And very exciting here second half. A lot of times at halftime you have a feel who you think's going to win the game, who's got the advantage or the momentum. Pretty evenly matched here so far in the first half.
So we'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the beginning of quarter number 3 here. The winner goes indoors to U.S. Bank Stadium, and after tonight's chilly weather, I don't think they'll mind that a bit.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Whiting getting set to kick it off here for Rosemount as Champlin Park will get the football to begin the second half. And boots it all the way back to the 5-yard line here, and a little bit of space to work with. Brock Johnson squirting through a gap and brought down there by Grunas for Rosemount, but nice field position here for Champlin Park despite a good kick. We said Whiting is certainly one of the better kickers around, and he got plenty of foot into that one.
No, great return too, and both teams, it's kind of a nice, on a cold night like this, you get into halftime, you warm up, you take the cleats off sometimes and thaw your feet off a little bit so you come out fresh, and now it's going to be a big opening drive here at Champlin Park, unable to get some points on the board there to end the half.
Yeah, the start of this third quarter feels like it could be really important. If they go down and score, they would have a pretty commanding lead. But if Rosemont gets a quick stop, they might be feeling pretty good about things.
That was a
hard,
collision.
yeah, hard hit there around the 35. I don't think Givens ever actually went all the way down, but his momentum stopped. And he will pick up about 5 on that play.
Ratzlaff, number 21 for Rosemont. He's a strong safety, but he almost plays like a linebacker. He comes up 5-6 yards at depth, and there was a good collision there. I think they're going to give him close to 5-6 yards there, so good first down execution. If I'm Champlin Park, I physically try to dominate this drive and march down and get that 2-score game and trust your defense.
Givens again with the handoff. They're trying to rip the football loose, and they keep on pushing forward, and that'll put him awful close to a first down. He might have it. That offensive line took advantage of the fact that Rosemont was kind of tackling up high, trying to rip the ball out, and they got in behind Givens and just kept pushing him forward.
No, and that's the kind of play where it builds momentum, too. When you see the push, the sideline gets excited, and it's just physical football. And to win state championships, to win and advance in the state tournament, you have to be fundamentally sound. You have to be better at blocking and tackling. And right now, that interior offensive line doing a great job.
From the 43 now, 1st and 10 for Miller and the Rebels. Miller's going to throw it out, completing it to Johnson. Well defended, though, and good thing he put the football away as they closed in on him there, as Grunas was the first there to him, and it will be no gain on the play.
Well, nice job in open space, Grunas making the tackle. That time I thought Brock danced a little too much. That's where you just got to go forward, gain 2 or 3 yards, stay low. And instead, trying to dance, trying to make a move, but all that waiting, it allowed Grunas to come up and make the tackle.
2nd down and 10 here now for the Rebels on the opening drive of the second half. Give up the middle. Givens is stacked up. Ratzlaff was there, got plenty of help as well as they send him back. Again, earlier in the game, Givens was getting through the line untouched more often than not, but it made things a little more difficult for him. Although I look at my stat sheet, the last 2 runs before that were 4 and 6, so he's still doing pretty well.
But the key on that, Rosemount winning 1st and 2nd down. So now you're in that 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 kind of distance, and it's a hard animal to get. And when it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, it just opens up that running. It opens up the possibility of Jace Miller keeping the football and running it.
Pressure coming off the edge, and Miller able to get through it. Miller into Rosemount territory, and he runs over the defender there. Mason Campbell paid the price for trying to tackle the big quarterback right there.
Well, there was two impressive parts to that run. The first was the way Jace Miller eluded the pressure. I thought I could see that blitz coming. I thought he was dead to rights right there. Steps up, and then watch him finish this run. And look at his sideline getting pumped up. You want to fire up your team as a quarterback? You don't tuck it and slide. You finish the run, and he certainly did that. That was impressive.
At the 42 now, first down. Miller's going to keep it again, and he'll be stopped for about a 1, maybe 2-yard gain that time. And you know the Irish were looking for a little payback there. Miller didn't give him a whole lot of opportunity to do it, though. Boy, that was a physical run. And I have to be honest with you, as admittedly more of an old school football fan, I love seeing a quarterback do that instead of this sliding and Kirk Cousins drop into the ground a yard short of the first down last week. That was embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, it fires your football team up because then your team believes in you. They see how tough you are. You're gonna fight for it.
Here's Johnson breaking free down near the 20 before he is ridden down from behind by Eric Buden.
Well, and they went back to that play. You saw them run it a few plays ago. It didn't get much. And they must, I think, when they're sensing that Rosemount defensive backs are backed off, there's going to be a penalty.
No, this one's coming back. So a potential gainer of about 20 is wiped out. And it'll actually go back around what was the line of scrimmage prior, as that must have happened downfield.
Wide receiver, yeah. Yep.
Miller looking left. Now he's going to flip it out and complete to Witt, wrapped up after about a 6-yard gain or so there right on the sideline. Just for a moment, it looked like he was going to tuck it and run, but then he kept his eyes on Witt and was able to sneak it through.
Well, and a smart play. Instead of ducking it and running, maybe taking a loss on it, you don't need the home run. He bought some time with his eyes up down the field and made a great throw and got positive yards. And now he set up a third and very manageable. That's growth as a quarterback right there, being patient and making the right decision.
3rd down and 3. Rosemount showing pressure from the outside there. Miller be changing things up a little bit here as he moves Givens in behind him. And they're going to run option left. The pitch back to Givens, and he has plenty of room down the sideline and just cartwheeled down inside the 15.
This is a game of chess right there. Rosemount showing blitz coming from the left side, and they looked over the sideline. They got the right play call, and they attacked the person blitzing. They knew where it was coming. They run the option. That guy has to make a decision. That's not an easy pitch. Going to your left, short field there, but great job by the Champlin Park coaching staff getting them into the right play, seeing where the pressure was going to come from.
Down to the 22, I meant inside the 25, not the 15 as I said initially. There's Miller, and he is wrapped up after a short gain there.
Nice job by 63, Riley Nelson getting good push there and getting some contact on Jace Miller. And again, even with that contact, the big fella able to move forward and get positive yards out of it.
Key drive here to start the second half for Champlin Park. They lead 13-7 and trying to keep this march going here, 2nd and long. Miller will keep it himself and paid the price pretty good there as he was popped by Charlie Barnick.
Well, and if you're Rosemount, that's what you got to do. If you get a chance to hit Jace Miller and beat him up, he's a big physical kid, but you got to wear him down and make him think about keeping that football. Great ball fake, and again, not a big game, but you set up, that 3rd and manageable again. But if you get a chance to hit the quarterback, you got to make sure you take advantage of that and do it.
Miller looked like he was adjusting himself a little bit there after taking that hard hit.
They're doing a great job. They're trying to get Rosemount to commit to showing what they're going to do defensively, and then they're patient and they're trying to get the right play in accordingly.
Miller rolling to his right, now throwing out in the flat, and Givens falls down. He did make the catch, but they're not really going to gain much of anything there.
Yeah, He slips. If he doesn't slip there, it looked like he had a little bit of room to turn it up. Rolling to the right again. Good patience by Miller. Pretty accurate pass, but you can see the footing just go out from underneath. I think he's able to turn that up, Jay, and probably get the first down, or at least close to it.
And there's an indication that when people think, well, on grass, that's the only time you slip. It never happens on turf. Not true.
And when it gets cold, too, and you get a little moisture out there, that field can get slippery. So it's just a matter of adjusting to it.
4th and 6 now for Champlin Park, and they'll go for it at about the 18-yard line. Pressure coming, a little screen set up. Gets it to Givens. Gets a block. Givens down the sideline, makes a cut, and he's in. Touchdown, Rebels.
I got to tell you, Jay, what a play call. Seeing the pressure coming, I didn't see the screen being set up. Great job by Jace Miller selling it, allowing that pressure to get close. Sometimes high school quarterbacks, they show screen too early. He sold it beautifully, and I'll tell you what a nice job blocking downfield. And Darius Givens, really patient run and showed some good speed, able to get into the end zone. But what a play call and what execution by Champlin Park. Wow.
Extra point try is not pretty, but it'll go through. Wow. Just barely knocked in by Vogelpohl there.
Might make you think about going for 2 next time, but what a great execution. You look at all the white jerseys coming at him, and then you see the wall of offensive linemen down the field. That was just a wonderfully executed play, and the right play call too. That was 4th and long. Oh, what execution. Get the big fellas out down the field running, and then I'll tell you, great job too by Givens getting to the outside and then a cut up the field for the touchdown. And he's pumped up. Champlin Park's pumped up. Look at the big linemen. They get out in front. They get to block downfield. They're fired up too. Beautiful play. A statement drive too, I think, to go up by 2 scores here to start the second half.
Yeah, it couldn't have turned out much better after the disappointment of not getting anything at the end of the first half, but you come out and do exactly what you wanted to do to begin the second.
And keep in mind too, there's just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter, so you not only just score, but you ate up a big chunk of that clock. And those are 2 guys right there waiting for this kickoff that are capable of huge plays anytime they get their hands on the football.
Mann will pick it up at about the 10, and he is tripped up. Nice job to get down there by Will Dampier for Champlin Park, as Mann is dangerous in the open field, but they're able to bring him down. And so Rosemount, and like you talked about last week too, Ryan, it feels like when you fall behind by another score like this, it puts more pressure on the offense now. They're starting to feel like, if you're Rosemount, that we really have to do something on this drive.
Instead of getting 4, 5, 6 yards every play, now you feel like you got to go for a big play or a home run. And that's when quarterbacks can start forcing the ball. But fortunately for Rosemount, when you got Jonathan Mann, you also have Christian Grasky. You got guys that can get you home run plays. If you're the Champlin Park defense here, you cannot let up.
Throw is complete. Whoa, and Retzlaff trying to hurdle the tackler there. He almost did, but Hammonds stayed with him enough to bring him down and cartwheel him to the turf. It'll be about a 3-yard gain.
That might be one of the most exciting 3-yard gains you're going to see all year. Easy throw, athletic play, but a nice job.
He got over him with the first leg, but the second one he did not. Hammond stuck with it and dropped him.
Well, Hammond has had a nice game tonight defensively. He's had a couple of really, really big plays.
2nd down and 7 now for the Irish. Armboris fakes the handoff, throwing, and there's a flag flying. They got a little tangled up, and it's going to be pass interference, it would appear, here on the Rebels.
Was that? Didn't you feel like the Ratzlaff, it wasn't on Ratzlaff, it was on the other one. I'm going to be interesting to see that again.
They kind of got tangled, and now I think the officials, they are going to pick it up, yes.
Yeah. I think that's the right call. Well, in this play, and I think Coach Keenan, you can sense he's fired up. 3rd and long here. If Champlin Park's able to get a stop here and get the ball back, they could effectively really almost end this game. So a huge play. That's a big penalty. If that is a flag, then you get a first down out of it. Instead, it's 3rd and long.
I think it's a good job of officiating too there, because sometimes you see it from a different angle or you don't see it all, and you kind of talk it over. Now if you're Rosemont right now, you're saying no, that's the other way around. But so 3rd down and long. Pressure coming, and the throw is intercepted. Hammonds with the pick. Down to the 20-yard line, and he's cut down there. As Cam Hammonds coming up. We do have a flag down on the play, though. Oh, we have a defensive holding on the return. Okay, after the interception, so the interception will stand.
Well, and again, we talked about it right before the start of that drive. Christian Grasky, did he get a carry on that drive? Nope, he went with 3 passes in a row.
Watch the pressure coming too. Armborst is hit just as he throws, and Hammonds, who continues his strong night with that interception.
And that ball, again, you talk about has to get rid of it before he wants to. Ends up nowhere near the receiver, but a great job by Hammonds getting in that passing lane, playing free safety, playing center field, just reading the quarterback's eyes, goes and makes a play. But that hold on the return is going to bring it back almost all the way back to midfield.
It'll be on the 44-yard line of Rosemount. 1st down for Champlin Park, leading 20-7, and they get the interception and have some momentum here. Givens right up the gut, and a big gap to run through there as he'll rip off about 8.
Just a great job up front. Bud Stark, number 69, did a great job leading the way there. Tyler Guckeen, number 51, doing a heck of a job. Those big horses up front doing their job, holding their block just long enough. And I'll tell you what, Darius Givens, only a sophomore, obviously getting a lot more carries with Sean Shipman out. He's got to be getting a lot of confidence, getting some great experience too, and seems to be getting stronger as the game goes on.
2nd and 1 here after that big 1st down gainer. Going to come right back to the ground. Givens again, a big gap to run through, and a stop made long after the 1st down.
And they're fired up. You can see the confidence right now. And I'll tell you, as a play caller, when you're able to run the ball up the middle like that, it opens everything up because you trust your guys up front. Now's when you maybe mix in a quarterback keeper or some ball fakes or play action or something else out of that. But running up the interior really sets up everything.
On the 27, right back to the ground. Givens this time tripped up after about 2. I think right now the Rebels too are, obviously the plan is to try and score a touchdown here, but they're also thinking already about using some clock, I think, too.
Absolutely, and that's where balanced football really comes in. So you've seen teams that have great offenses, but they don't trust their defense, and their offense scores too quick, and Champlin Park knows they have a really good defense too, and if you're going to force Rosemount to play from behind, like we saw in that last possession, you trust your defense.
Miller going to run it left. Got a good block. Cuts it up, and he's going to go for the touchdown.
Great cut, but there is a flag on the play. That one might be coming back.
Yeah, looks like the Rebels are celebrating that. They think it's against Rosemount. Haven't seen a signal yet, but they're close enough that they were hearing what was said, I think. Touchdown will stand. Personal foul against Rosemount.
I'll tell you what, Jace Miller with the big arm tonight doing it on the ground. And I think the most impressive thing is how quick his cuts have been tonight. He was rolling to the left, did not look like there was just much, and good patience, and then bam, he cuts back to his right and gets north and south in a hurry. And he's had a monster night, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the evening.
Extra point try here as Vogelpohl on. He's knocked a couple of them through. They haven't been especially good looking, but this one is much better.
Beautiful.
And so late in this 3rd quarter, Champlin Park stretching the lead out to 27-7.
And just a nice job by Rosemount setting the edge, but I think maybe underestimating the running ability and the quickness of Jace Miller. And instead of trying to prolong that out and force it to the left, watch him right there, makes that decision to cut up, and there's just no pursuit by any white jerseys, and he's able to turn it upfield and into the end zone.
Hard to really see what the penalty was. It came, as the play was going on. It wasn't a, after he's in the end zone kind of deal, I don't think. But
well, sometimes on those you'll get a frustration penalty, especially if you're on defense. You feel the game maybe slipping away a little bit. You get a frustration penalty, but I'll tell you, this is exactly how Coach Nick Keenan, I think, would have drawn it up at halftime. Let's march down, let's get a score, and then let's put pressure, get a turnover, and another score, and it's exactly what's happened. And just like that, instead of being up 6, you're up by 20, feeling pretty confident.
And look where they're kicking from now, too, from the 45-yard line of Rosemount because of that personal foul. Boy, do you consider going onside kicking? Oglepole will instead drive it deep into the end zone and not allow them any chance for a return.
Well, and that's a great point, Jay, because like I've said, Jonathan Mann and Christian Grasky, you get the feeling they could house a kickoff return at any time. And by moving it up 15 yards, they get into the end zone, you eliminate any chance of a big play on the kickoff.
Well, Champlin Park, look at some of what they've done defensively tonight, and you can see how high the standards are. If Coach Keenan was saying we didn't play that great a D in the first half, because they did some things pretty well in that opening half, and there you get a look at the nice breakup by Noah Link. They've bent a little bit here and there. Grasky has shown he's a good football player, but Knutson dragged him down there. This time they string him out, and Miles got him eventually, and then there was a great play by Hammonds right there, and then Hammonds with an interception. Back to live action. Here's Grasky taking it. Ooh, and he took a hard hit there from Evalecha, but it's still a pretty decent gain. I'm sorry, man on the carry.
Yeah, that was a good hit there. I think when Coach Keenan was talking about his tackling, I think he was frustrated, but I think you also got to give credit to Grasky and how he ran in that first half. He's as impressive as a running back as I've seen all year, just from his elusiveness and his ability to get out of tackles.
From the 27 now, second down, Armborst rolling to his right. Now will throw late to the sideline and actually into the Rosemount bench. It'll fall incomplete as he had to get rid of it there.
Well, and again, second and 4, and Grasky hasn't had a touch yet in the second half, and I think Champlin Park, give them a credit. They've done a great job at taking Jonathan Mann out of this game. We haven't called his name. We haven't seen a long throw down the field. He's been such an electric playmaker. We've seen Champlin Park put in a cornerback on him and then having that safety over the top, trying to take him out. But at this point, if you're Rosemont, you can't think of, we got to get 20 points in one play. You got to sustain a drive here. You got to convert here on this 3rd and short.
3rd and 3, Armborst looking, lofting it up downfield for Grasky, and incomplete. It looked like he had it for a moment there, but Miles getting his hands in and helping to break it up.
Well, great route again by Grasky, and I don't think you could throw a better ball than Armborst did there. I mean, he put an absolute teardrop right in the hands. That's just one.
Just a drop, yeah.
Pretty well covered, but just a perfect throw. That's one where Grasky, you got to help your quarterback out in a situation like that and make a big play.
Miles probably coming to the bench saying, "You see me break that one up," but we saw the truth on the replay there. It was really dropped already, but still, he was there.
Yeah.
A little fake punt, but the snap is too high. Rosemont recovers, but they'll give it to Champlin Park at about the 14-yard line. They wanted to go with a little fake, but didn't quite execute on the snap.
That's frustrating for a coaching staff because that's probably something they've worked on all year, holding on to that fake punt. They're trying to snap it directly, it looked like, to Grunas, and that ball just a little bit too high. Basically, essentially a turnover. You're giving Champlin Park a red-hot offense here in the second half. Outstanding field position at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, they'll spot it to 16, and they skidded back with it, but 16 is where they'll put it. Miller and crew very much in command now. Wow, what a stretch this third quarter has been in changing the complexion of this game. Miller will hand it off. Down to the edge here goes Scott. And got a penalty, though, a holding call coming up against the Rebels. So wipe out that gainer.
You know what might be the play of the game, Jay, is remember on the first drive, you see a look at the holding call on Champlin Park. This first drive for Champlin Park in the second half, it was 4th and 5, and they ran that perfectly executed screen pass for the touchdown. And that was just such a great play call and execution. And it's really just gotten this big momentum going for Champlin Park, and Rosemount unable to get it back on their side.
So they'll be pushed back to the 25, again being a spot foul, not as bad as it could have been. As that one will push them back just 9 yards. Down to about a minute to go here in this third quarter. Rebels in control now, up by 20 and looking for more. Give is to Scott, and he is stacked up after a very short pickup.
Good job by Cameron Rother, number 76 there for Rosemount. Big fella there just eating up space and just nowhere to go on that.
Chances are they're going to have, you know, a tall order to come back anyway, but this really a must stop for Rosemount right now.
Yeah, it just seems too in the second half, you got to give credit to the Rebels play callers. They're just running the right play. It seems like in the right down and distance. Good patience. They're seeing what Rosemount's trying to do and called just excellent plays. And a little bit more patience. You see they're trying to get Rosemount to show their hand so that they can get the correct play call in.
Rebels end up using a timeout. Reminder to vote for our CCX Sports Play of the Week. It's brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove. Go to our website, ccxmedia.org, and click on Sports tab and then vote for the Play of the Week. We have 4 plays each week. They're up now. Go ahead and vote. The viewers decide the winner each week. And again, Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove, our sponsor. I don't think the Rebels would have liked to burn that timeout before the end of the quarter there. They couldn't run it all the way down, but that's one that might be a minor thing overall, but I'm sure they were hoping not to have to do that.
No, and something that's really caught on in the last few years. You see it at the college level a lot, but it looks like the offense is ready to snap it, and they get the defense to show what they're going to do. Then you get that look over to the sideline, and it's having players that you can communicate with and trust that you know you're going to get the right play called. Really big advantage, and we've seen it come to fruition a couple of times here in the second half. You get the right look that you've been seeing on film all week and preparing for it, and then you get that right play call at that same time. Can be really advantageous.
Second down and 18 here for Champlin Park. Miller looking to throw, looking toward the end zone for Johnson, incomplete. Johnson trying to go up there, got bumped just a little bit there by Sean Apple, and the quarter will come to an end on that play, and it's a great quarter for the Rebels. They will take a 20-point lead into the fourth quarter. It's 27-7 Rebels. Great third quarter for Champlin Park as they score 14 points, lead at 27-7, getting those feet warmed up on the sideline as well here.
As long as there's no pedicures going on, with that heat, we'll be okay.
But here's that big play Ryan was talking about on a fourth down play for Champlin Park. It turns into an impressive screen play for the Rebels as Givens from Miller
And just watch the way Miller, watch 3 white jerseys, and he waits. As a quarterback, if you show screen, a defensive lineman, they're taught. They'll recognize that. They'll retreat. He did a great job of drawing in those linemen and at the last second getting rid of it to Givens. And they just really
Here's Miller to Brock Johnson for the touchdown. Not a bad way to start the fourth quarter as they pop for a 24-yard strike to begin the period.
All right, so we thought the third quarter was a great quarter for Champlin Park. How about that? 1 play in and a strike from Jace Miller, showing off the big arm. He's accounted for all of the touchdowns tonight for Champlin Park. That one a rifle to his favorite target, Brock Johnson, who finishes it off for 6. What a strike.
Vogelpohl on to attempt the extra point here. And his kick is good, and Champlin Park, boy, you just didn't have the feel that this one was going to turn into this kind of margin.
Yeah, watching that first half really even, and I even said to you, you just don't get the feel for who's got the momentum, who's going to end up winning this game, and Champlin Park came out of the gates here. And watch this strike. Just a beautiful thrown ball right into the hands. And the key is you hit your receiver while he's in momentum, in stride. Brock Johnson able to finish it for the touchdown.
Johnson's been a big play guy all season for the Rebels, and Miller obviously trusts him quite a bit and put that one right on him. And then he had to make a little move. I mean, that one could have been still a good play, but short of the end zone if he didn't get through that tackler.
Well, and remember, too, that was 3rd and long on that play. So big play. And you love the confidence in your quarterback, too, to trust him throwing in the middle of the field. The last thing you want to do is throw an interception that could get returned to going the other way, but you trust your quarterback to make a great decision, and some accuracy on that as well. Jace Miller really doing it in all phases tonight. Been excellent. 3 rushing touchdowns, a great screen pass that we had just showed, and that time showing off the cannon.
Vogelpohl drilling this one for the Rebels. Man breaks through 1 tackle, cutting back the other way, breaks another tackle. Man taking on a defender there and gets it out to about the 28-yard line. Had to work hard for that return. The Rebels have done pretty well on kick coverage here. And they will get a chance now defensively to work out some frustrations here too, leading at 34-7. This is not the kind of margin we thought we'd see either way here in this one, but Champlin Park, a lot of credit. They've played a great second half so far.
They really have. They've been flawless. We've seen, turnover, interception on defense they got the fake punt, and then their offense has just come out and set the tone. So great football.
Armbor is going to look deep with this one and try to go to man, but it's incomplete. Had him turned around a little bit.
I'll tell you, when you have a Division I talent like Jonathan Mann, 6'4", 200 pounds, fast, athletic, Champlin Park has done a great job. They've completely taken him out of the game. We haven't seen anything threatening from him. And I'll tell you, I think the key is here in the second half is as good as Christian Grasky was in the first half. We haven't seen him have a carry here in the second half. That's why that opening drive was so big for Champlin Park to put that 2-score lead up there. I think it got Rosemount out of what they want to really do on offense.
Rebels showing blitz here. Armbor throws, it's tipped and intercepted. This time picked off by Edmund O'Cansey. And the tip drill was in effect right there as a ball hit a defender earlier. And then O'Cansey able to haul it in. You see Josh Strong, that one hurt his thumb, I think, because he got a piece of it.
Well, some pressure. There's a hit there, and that ball's tipped right there. And O'Cansey just being in the right place at the right time. Second interception here of the second half. And it's just been one of those halves for Rosemont where it just seems to be piling on here. It's such a game of momentum, and Champlin Park went into halftime, got momentum, and it just completely flipped the script here in the second half.
They'll start with at the Rosemount 45 now. Miller's going to turn up. So we got a flag down and a false start here against the Rebels. That's one where Strong, you can laugh about it when your thumb's hurting after it's an interception for your team and you're up by 27 in a playoff game. I'm sure he's deep down is going, oh, this really hurts, but we'll live with it.
you know, and a couple of these interceptions just really not close even to the receivers. That ball just a little bit too much mustard and not near anyone, and great team defense there by Champlin Park.
Yeah, good concentration by O'Canthy to stay with it as it changed direction there a little bit. Here's Scott taking the handoff here and advances it to about the 45 before he's pushed it back, so give him about 5 on that carry.
Got back to the line of scrimmage there after the false start. You know, at this point too, when the game's pretty much decided, Champlin Park, you want to run that clock down. You're going to keep this clock moving. You don't want to get any more injuries. You want to keep everyone healthy and keep this momentum going into the next round.
Interesting to see Coach Keenan saying that there's definitely a possibility that Sean Shipman would be ready if they advance, which obviously looks like they're going to now. Here's Scott, and he is stacked up for a loss on that play as his blocker Johnson kind of got blown up a little bit and then nowhere to go from there. Well, and Johnson's a little slow to get up.
You know, and keep in mind too, they had all week knowing Shipman wasn't going to play, so they came into tonight knowing Givens was going to get more of the carries, and I'll tell you, if anything, it's just made them have more confidence in their team, knowing that, hey, we can do this without Shipman back there. And he's such a wonderful back, but it's a team game, and they can really throw the football, and they've run the football well tonight. Just a total team victory here tonight, offensive, defensively, and special teams.
3rd and 12 here for Champlin Park. Miller is going to hand it off on the delay, and Scott running hard right up the gut down near the 35. And it looks as though he's going to be close, but maybe a little short of the first down. Thought at first maybe he had gotten it.
Well, kind of a great little misdirection draw play there. It looked like Jace Miller was rolling out to the right for maybe a short pass. Instead, a little draw play coming back to the left, and just a great play call. And again, good execution. You pick up a big chunk there and set up 4th and manageable here to hopefully keep this drive going, keep that clock moving as well.
4th and 1 now. Miller directing traffic as he brings Scott back to more of an eye look. Run option to the left. Miller will keep it, and he breaks through to get the first down. Wow, it looked like he was going to be stopped short, and instead he's able to squeeze through for the first down.
Well, and again, just that great footwork for a guy his size, able to stop, elude the defender. It did not look like there was much space there, Jay. And that's where you can see number 45 for Rosemount, Eric Boudin. He's got to make the decision. You either got to take the quarterback or the pitch man. You don't want to get stuck in no man's land, and that time he was in no man's land. And Jace Miller made the right call that time, keeping it and just plunging forward, picking up that first down, keep this drive going.
From the 33 now, first down for the Rebels. Right up the middle again, and Scott is wrapped up as soon as he gets the ball there. As brought down by Barnick.
Nice play that time by Barnick, and that interior defense there for Rosemount. And Champlin Park, especially in the second half, has pretty much owned that up the middle run there. And it's kind of set up everything else that they've been able to run.
Second down and long, and you can see Miller looking to use as much time as he can. He's looking at the back judge there. If he starts that final 5 countdown, here's the handoff to Scott, and he keeps on driving out inside the 25.
That was some great blocking there on the offensive line. Great push on the left side.
Yeah, it looked like Mujahid.
Yeah, Jahad did a phenomenal job. Number 75 just got a great push, 3-4 yards down the field. Complementary football. When you can run the football, it usually means your offensive line's had a pretty good game up front.
From the 25, 3rd and a couple, and Scott just tripped up. He'll have enough for the first down, but it looked like he might have a chance to go into the end zone, and somebody just clipped his ankle.
Didn't that play remind you of Grasky's touchdown run in the first half, where it was this everyone kind of colliding, and somehow the running back able to get through there? Mashard Scott just gets tripped up, or he might have taken that one for 6.
Scott, the senior, getting some serious amount of carries down the stretch here after Givens did most of the work earlier on. Again, they're without Sean Shipman tonight, their leading rusher by far this season, and with an ankle injury, and they're hoping he can maybe be back for the semifinals, but we'll see. Oh, and Scott with a big-time collision with Ratzlaff. Just a couple of guys banging into each other there at full speed. He'll pick up about 8.
Well, even though Rosemont's going to come up short, I think, in this game, you can definitely tell they got some tremendous football players on their team. And we've called Jake Ratzlaff's name a couple of times. He's had some ferocious hits from his safety position. So still some collisions going on there.
Although on that one, he hit him hard, but he didn't wrap up.
No.
There's Shipman, 23, who is dressed tonight, but obviously they don't intend to use him, and they're hoping to get him back for next week. 2nd down and 3 coming up. Rebels trying to burn clock here. As again, you see Miller watching. Here is Scott again, and he is running hard down to the 10. He'll have enough for a first down.
And I think that's what makes this victory and this margin of victory and the number of points so impressive. A statement win for Champlin Park is that you're doing this without, perhaps your most talented offensive player. And when you're missing a star player, everyone has to step their game up, and they certainly have. And it starts right there at the top. Coach Keenan and the way they've called their plays, and up front dominating the line of scrimmage. Jace Miller having maybe his best game of the season as far as running and throwing, 5 total touchdowns. And of course the running back a little bit more by committee, but they've certainly been running the ball hard.
Evan Hammonds taking the handoff here. Oh, he broke through the first tackle, and he might wish that he hadn't, because he got unloaded on pretty good there by Jacob Peterson.
He got hit a couple times on that run, and of course Peterson finishes him off. Almost looked like a forearm tackle there. That was an old school physical tackle.
Yeah, there's no doubt Rosemont, got to be a little frustrated at this point. They're looking to deliver some licks late if they can.
Well, I think you just feel like, what the heck just happened? It was just a 1-score game at half, and we felt pretty good. And it was like a matter of 5 plays, and the game just got out of hand in a hurry. And I think you just credit Champlin Park and the way they've executed.
2nd and 14 now. They'll come back to Hammonds again, and very little there as he is wrestled down. And the Rebels, like you said earlier, now you can kind of tell they're to the point where they just want to get this over with and go celebrate a nice win.
Now's when you, as a player, you start to feel the cold. When you know the outcome is basically decided. You just want to get out of here feeling healthy and not getting hurt.
Not sure what we've got for a call here. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike against the defense.
I didn't see where it came from.
And the official going to explain now to Coach Erdman, I'm sure, right here too. And he didn't disagree or anything. It might have been something said, a little taunting, possibly a little bit after that physical tackle. I'm not sure, but they'll move it down to the 6-yard line. Miller again using as much time as he can here. Now getting himself ready to go. Miller is going to hand it off to Scott. Broke through the first tackle. They're trying to rip that ball free. And they drive forward down to about the 1. That's the problem with, obviously they want to force a turnover, but they're tackling up high and allowing that line to kind of get behind him and push him forward a little bit there.
That's the old cliche, but as someone, I coach youth football, and I always am telling, the low man wins, and that's true no matter what level of football you're playing. And 3 or 4 people combine and tackle, going for the ball, like you said, and that offense almost becomes a rugby scrum, if you will, and able to get good push there.
Well, and then once there's that big of a group of guys, you don't want to be that guy who goes down low, because you're going to have a lot of bodies landing on you. Rebels let it keep ticking and either take a timeout or take the penalty. There's just going to be a timeout called here.
Coach Keenan trying to get the crowd. He's going nuts. He's getting the crowd excited. Champlin Park, you can hear the crowd reacting. Their team is excited. The hugs and the celebrations, they know they got this one in the bag.
I think they were quietly pretty confident that they were going to have a good team this year, but they've really turned into a really good team right now. In the second year for Nick, he was in the program earlier as an assistant, went away to become a head coach for a bit, and I know you've known him for a long time too, Ryan, and boy, nice job that they've done. They've got a good staff, they've got some good players, and they're going to be in the semifinals.
He played at Eden Prairie, played with a good class. He's 2 years older than I was, and he was always a smart football player, played in college, and just a student of the game, and he's very smart. And I'll tell you, he's got a personality that kids love him. They absolutely adore him, and they would run through a brick wall for him. And I think he's proven to them that he knows what he's talking about. He knows he'll prepare them if they do their job. And his kids have certainly done their job, and I think they believe. And I truly believe that. I said in the beginning that they're as complete a team as anyone else out there.
4th and goal. Scott is going to be cut down short of the end zone. And so Rosemount will get a stop. However, they're about 98 yards from the other goal line. Lakeville North has rallied to take the lead on Shakopee late in that game. It's 9-7 Panthers. Again, the winner of this one, which is going to be Champlin Park, plays the winner of that game.
That's going to set up a heck of a matchup. Lakeville North, maybe not as dominant as they have been in years past, but still some very good players, some great athletes.
That's if they hang on, though.
If they hang on. And get a chance against Champlin Park, like you said, that'll be indoors. So you have no elements as a key. It's just mano-a-mano. Who's the best football team? But setting up to be a great matchup.
From the 2, Armborst keeping it. Ooh, and Link drives him down from behind for a loss of a yard. He didn't get too far out of the end zone on that one.
You could see Link's eyes almost lit up, like he knew he might have had a safety there. Kind of a slower developing play. Rosemount lucky to get out of the end zone there and not pick up a safety.
Now, Armborst, a good fake, but then he kind of had to, bend it out a little bit farther than he wanted to there. He couldn't just cut it up hard. And Link able to drag him down. So out of the end zone here, Armborst gonna throw it down the sideline, incomplete. So he tried to go up top there to man. You're right, Ryan. They've really taken him out of the game by bracketing him well.
Well, what it does is it just doesn't. It's frustrating as a receiver. I almost equate it to being boxing one in basketball, where you just have nowhere to go because you got a corner on you, covering you every step short, and then anything over the top, you got a safety over there. So it's really hard to get someone the ball when they're being bracketed like that.
Armborst will throw it and complete, but an immediate wrap up there as Moore getting to Mason McDonald, and that'll be only about a yard or 2 gain.
That's great coverage. Hats off to the Rebel secondary tonight. We've seen some great collisions right as the ball arrives. That time Moore just waiting for it and wrapped up, sure tackling, and that's what you want to do right now. You want to keep everything in front of you.
Looks like Rosemont looking to punt it here. Doesn't really make all that much difference at this point with this score as it is, but you don't want to give them the ball at the 1 either. A little bit of a high snap, but Whiting will boom it out of there. And takes a good bounce for the Irish, but not much consequence here. Rebels just going to get away from it and let it die at around the 49. A little over a minute to go is all that's left. The Rebels probably going to be able to just kneel on it a time or 2 here and then celebrate a victory.
Well, if you think back to earlier in the year, October 4th, Champlin Park did go out to Rosemount and they won 17-14 in a really hard-fought defensive game, and they had Sean Shipman in that game. I think it was fair to think coming into this game without him, what would this game look like, and it certainly answered the call.
So the Rebels will kind of get into victory formation here and take a knee here as a dominant second half for Champlin Park. Rebels fans going to enjoy this one, and now they get to go to the big house, the Viking Stadium, and they won't be dealing with the elements this time. So Champlin Park going to secure the victory here with a 34-7 win over Rosemount. And the other thing you like about this team is it just kind of seeming to continue to get better and better throughout the year, too.
Well, and they don't seem too high or too low. They don't seem like this is the state championship. They feel like this was just a stepping stone in what their ultimate goal is. And I'll tell you, when you have a complete team like that, it's different when you go into the state tournament. You expect to be there. You expect to win. So this is a big win. You can see Lakeville North did win their game, so it's going to set up a heck of a matchup next Thursday. Lakeville North versus Champlin Park. And that's going to be a great game, and I mean it, especially after seeing another full game in person, Jay. I think Champlin Park, maybe with the exception of Wayzata, those two are the most complete teams that I've seen this year.
So Champlin Park will advance to the semis, 34-7 win over Rosemount. We will take a timeout and come back to hear from the Rebels in just a moment. You're watching the Class 6A football playoffs on CCX.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Get it.
Get it. Get it.
Give your town a reason to celebrate, because every Goodwill item you bring home brings job training and more to your community. Goodwill, bring good home.
They are pumped up down there in that Rebels huddle after a 34-7 victory over the Rosemount Irish here in the Class 6A quarterfinal round games. Welcome back to a chilly but happy group at Park Center here. Champlin Park with a dominant second half with the pulling away for the victory after leading in a close game at halftime. Let's go down now to the field with Ryan.
I'm with a couple of superstars from tonight's game. I'll start defensively with Cam Hammonds. Cam, you got that pick in the second half that really just kind of spearheaded the momentum on your side. How big was that play here to determine the outcome of this game?
Man, it was really huge, you know. It was a tough start for me in the defense, you know, with them driving down the field. And then once we got the hang of things, with that pick, everything just kind of started rolling, and then everything went our way after that.
One of the things I've talked about, I've seen all the top teams this year. I feel like you guys are one of the most complete teams, offensively and defensively. Tonight, you guys, that first couple drives, it seemed like they were having their way. They were moving the football. But you bended, but you never broke. And then the second half, you guys pitch a shutout. How good is this defense?
I think we're up there with the top. We're one of the best defense in Minnesota, I think so. And I think we can go far. We can get to the ship and probably win it this year, most likely.
How exciting is it to be playing where the Vikings play, U.S. Bank Stadium, indoors, with the chance to keep moving on here for a state championship?
It's really exciting, man. I'm just happy that we can play inside and get away from this cold weather. So I'm really happy.
Do you ever pick this guy off in practice?
Man, it's a competition, but sometimes I get lucky.
Well, congrats on an awesome game. All right, Jace. All night long, I just said for you guys to win tonight without Sean here with an injury, you were going to have to step up and have a great game. I thought you did that. After that first throw, throwing the interception, you bounced right back. 5 total touchdowns. How big was your performance tonight?
Oh, yeah. Going in, the offense coordinator, he actually texted me today saying Shipman was out. So he's asked me if I was okay with running the ball 15 to 20 times a game. I was like, for sure. He's like, you're averaging 8. Are you willing to step it up and run more? I was like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it seemed like you wore on him. Your size, 215 pounds. But the thing I kept noticing is how nimble you were. Your footwork was awesome tonight, making cuts, being decisive with the football. Is that something you've been working on lately?
Yeah, that just comes from our summer program, game face training, coming with us and working out every day since June. So that's what led to this season.
The other thing, so it's a one-possession game at half. You guys come out, you get the possession, you march down and score. That screen pass on 4th and 5, I mean, executed perfectly. A lot of quarterbacks, they show a screen coming. Defenses react. You watch the replay, you'll see you had 3 linemen about a foot away from you. You executed perfectly. How big was that drive setting the tone there for the second half?
Oh, yeah, going into the second half with the ball, I know how good our defense is. That takes pressure off us, so going up 2 touchdowns is huge with our defense behind us. That gives us a good chance to win.
Are you excited to be playing indoors, playing Lakeville North next week?
Can't wait.
What do you guys have to do to win this whole thing?
Defense, keep doing what they're doing. Offense, today we're in rhythm. Just keep staying in rhythm. This is probably our best game by far, so just keep this going and we'll do good.
Are you having a blast?
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, good luck the rest of the way. Congrats on a great game. Back to you, Jay.
Thanks very much, Ryan. Fantastic outing for the Rebels. Congratulations to them as they get set to take on Lakeville North, and we'll be following them along to U.S. Bank Stadium as well. Once again, your final in this one is Champlin Park 34, Rosemount 7. For Ryan Iverson and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Brooklyn Park.